Alright, it's Sunday morning and I thought I would do a quick what's blooming update before I picked out my plants for my monthly Orchid Society meeting. This will help me figure out what's in bloom and also let me decide what to pick out. So let's see, starting right here I have this little guy which I got from Carmel Orchids. This is, I don't know if I can pronounce it properly. Yeah, ornithoptera or radicans. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. But it's got these little white flowers. Harder to focus on them, of course, because they're so small. Let me put it, see if I can put it back down. Get a better view of the flowers. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Pretty. Small. So remember, let's pull that for the Orchid Society. So over here is my table of plants that overflow. Actually, this is stuff that needs to go back into my collection. There's no room yet. But I do have my crate for overflow. So, caught on tree. So here we go, and we'll put my first chosen plant in there. Very nice. So, let's see. I want to take my Vandas this month that are blooming. So I have this orange one, which is Fuchs Gold by Prelor. It's an Ascocenda hybrid. It's been in bloom since last month, so you can see the flowers are starting to fade a little bit. I have this big honkin' pink one, which is Vanda Pure Wax Pink. My Google search tells me that there are multiple different pure waxes. And then I have a third one, which is sort of like a pink bicolor flower. So if you look at it, it's darker pink on the bottom than it is at the top. And the tag on this one is Samsri Blue Classic by Blitz's Heartthrob. So, I don't know, I guess a blue or purple orchid was crossed with something to produce this funky pink. It's cross. So other orchids that I'm interested in taking to the monthly meeting are one of my Richard Mueller crosses. So here's a bunch of them in bloom back here. The tall one in the back here is Golden Peacock. The smaller one in the front, I'm not too sure what it is, but you know, I'm gonna have to go around to pick them out, or I have to look at how good the flowers are close up, and I'll tell you what that smaller golden one is when I get to it. I've got some other Richard Muellers that are fading, like this one right here is fading. This is my Hawaiian Treat. It's fading. Let's see, I have another, this is another Richard Mueller right here. This little tiny one is Richard Mueller by Encyclia and Denocarpa. I don't know, it's only got 2 flowers. And since Cattleya hybrids are judged by color, I obviously don't want to take all of them. So I have another Richard Mueller right here. This is Willette Wong by Richard Mueller. It's also got 2 flowers, very nice orange. But I gotta decide if I want to take those ones that you saw in the back there. I've got in bud Sunset Spots Alfred right here. But yeah, I have to decide whether I want to take those ones that are in back that we saw. Going all the way around my collection. I've got more in bud. This is Richard Bonanza that's in bud right here. Still Richard Mueller season. That's the great thing about summer. It's always Richard Muellers in bloom. So let's see what we have here. So yes, here is the Golden Peacock. So it's got 1, 2, 3 spikes. This one's obviously been in bloom a while. You know, so I've collected a bunch of the flowers in my hand. And then underneath it, that lighter golden one was Dan O'Connor. So this is Dan O'Connor. And you can see the flowers in here. I think this one's definitely going. Dan O'Connor's going to go. And I guess we'll take Golden Peacock. And perhaps we'll leave the other Richard Muellers at home. So, let's see if I can pick them out of the rack. Oh, this has 3 spikes. One hasn't opened yet. Look at that. So the biggest problem with the Vandas going is that I don't know how to stand them up so they don't basically lay on their backs during on the show table. I don't own one of those little triangular pagoda things, so I don't have like a good standalone item for stuff to hang on. I'm not quite sure what to do with them. I'd like to take them, but again, how do I make them stand up? Other things that are in bloom here, right here. This is one of my plants from the Chicago Botanic Garden Spring Show. This is something honey butter, Pacific Waters honey butter, and then you can see that my green hornet is still going a little bit. It's probably not going to go this month because not a lot of flowers. I've got another one right here in bloom. That's probably Rosy Sunset. Up close, you know, I have a lot of stuff blooming that's just coming out. So you can see this stuff is old. I've got some fresh blooms at the top. I'm not going to take this to the show table. Same as over here. I'm not taking that to the show table, even though it is still got some flowers on it. And if you're wondering, I think this was in bloom in my last update. But this I love the red on this. But this is, I can't get the right tag. That's the one problem, reaching down for tags, really pain in the butt. This is Aloha Sparks right there. It has been a big zygopetalum blooming time right here, but my zygos are finishing up, at least some of them are. So this right here was Jumpin' Jack, and then this was one of the Wiesendorf Rhine somethings. So this was Rhine Clown. So let's see, I gotta go back around and pick up the other Richard Mueller. I know that I saw another zygo in bloom on the side there when I was doing that. So here, this zygo is in bloom. This is, I think I'll take this one. This one won't look too bad. This is Wiesendorf Rhine Moonlight. Looking underneath here, I don't see anything in bloom. I've got a Fallon Spike. I am feeling like some of these aren't like this. I don't think is making it. I think this is dead. I'm gonna have to pull that out. Don't think this is the greatest spot. I don't know that it got enough water on the back side. I should bring the hose around and water the stuff right there. It's protected. Right amount of shade, right amount of light, not enough water. This is my Holy Night that's in bud right here. This is a very confused, nobly typed dendrobium. It really shouldn't be in bud in the summer. It's supposed to be in bud and blooming in the winter. It's supposed to bloom like at Christmas. That's why we call it Holy Night. But no, of course not. It's so here's the Golden Peacock coming out. So that's cleaned out that section. I've got another really confused, nobly type dendrobium. I'll show it to you. I can see it in bloom. So right here I've got this. This is a Springbird Kurashiki. It was in bloom last month. I did take it to the meeting, and all the buds that were on it then are now open. So here's that. You can see it. Whoops, pot's cracking. So I'm going to take that. Let me see if I can get a better view of the flowers. So these flowers are better right there. But you can see some of the flowers. That flower's old. I have to pick it off. But yeah, and it's also not going to stand up, it's like going to fall over. So I need to find a pot for it. Let me see, my hibiki pink elephant is also still in bloom right here. Nice little hibiki. Good hibiki. Let me see if I can get it out. Oh, it's not that pot, it's this one. So here's pink elephants. Still blooming strong. Nice thing about this hybrid is it blooms a long time. You can see my other one is still working on getting its flowers up. So I don't know, the flowers look a little worn, and I know Cinda's is in bloom, and it's gonna probably put this to shame. Think about it. Let's see. Oh, some things that aren't doing so hot. That's not doing so hot. That was too small. You know, the one thing about really small kikis is they don't do so great. I mean, that is not a kiki. It's doing well. Not doing well at all. So let's see. I'm picking out dead leaves as I'm going through. That's why no pauses. Here is a nice. This is Hawaiian Lightning. It usually only puts out one flower, but I love the pattern on it. It's been in bloom for a while though, so you can see the flowers damaged, so I don't think it's gonna go. But I like it. And oh my goodness! Even though I know I took it out, I realized these roots from another orchid have wrapped all the way around it. Look at this. Look at that. All the way from over here. I'm gonna have to carefully go through and pick all those roots off, put them out, so they're gonna be like stuck to stuff later. There we go. Yeah, hang out, please don't attach yourself to the other pots, because then I have to rip you out later. Alright, so that is, I think, well, it's probably not everything, but I'll make more video if it turns out there are more stuff in bloom and add to this. Alright, a little addendum to the main video. What would Richard Mueller season be like if my Richard Mueller wasn't in bloom? Now, my Richard Mueller is kind of disappointing because it's white instead of orange, and that's why I bought another one this year, which is supposed to be Richard Mueller crossed back to itself, and hopefully that one will be orange. And then I have my Caudatum. It's on its 4th bud opening. Not quite open yet. You can see here was another one that's already fallen off. And there was another one earlier somewhere else too. And it's got a third one right up here. The dog is bored. And then very nicely over here is, this is a great flower. So this one's going to be hard to see because it blooms like a cloud. So it has these tiny little flowers. And see, here's my finger, and of course it's not focusing on it, because how do you focus on flowers this small? But let me see if I can't get... I have to focus on my finger? My phone is like, no, I will not focus on my finger. Alright, there. There's my finger in focus. I'm going to turn it slowly so we can see the flower. There's the flower, right? But you see how small it is. So then there are just thousands. It's just starting to open. And this is, I believe, a Caribbean species called Drum Diffuser. So it's, the first year I got 3 spikes, and every year since then I've gotten 2 spikes. It's pretty awesome. It only blooms on the new growth. I really like it. It's short though. It'll bloom like a week and then it'll be done. So almost always, it's blooming a little earlier this year. In previous years, it has not bloomed until the last week of September, but I think it's been so hot here this summer that it started earlier. So there we go. That is Diffusum. And I just wanted to share that as a last addendum.